பறவைகளாம் அம்மா பறவைகளாம் தந்தினந்தேதி பறவைகளாம் சொல்லம்மா சொல்லு பலவிதமா வந்து ரங்குதம்மா இச்சையில்ல ரெண்டு மணிப்புறவும் தந்தினந்தேதி மணிப்புறவும் சொல்லம்மா சொல்லு இன்பமுற கவர செய்ய.
Welcome to the Folk Chronicles, a podcast like no other that takes you on a journey across the country, from forests to malls, from huts to offices. As we venture into the world of folklore, we will be focusing on tales, traditions, riddles, rituals, music, and all that our grandmothers taught us. This podcast is presented by the students of the Capstone Project, Folklore in Context, from the Department of English and Cultural Studies, CFRIA deemed to be University, Bannerghatta Road campus.
In today's episode, we dive into the vibrant world of Chittara, a mesmerizing folk art form from Karnataka, India, cherished by the Deevaru community, known for its intricate geometrical patterns and vivid storytelling through murals. Chittara art is a testament to the community's deep connection with nature, utilizing eco-friendly materials. The spotlight on this art form is primarily on the efforts of Geeta Bhat, a pioneer in reviving traditional Indian art. Alongside the Center of Revival of Indigenous Art, founded with Dr. Mohan Chakraborty and in 2008. Geeta's journey through the villages of Karnataka has not only uncovered but also elevated Chittara, integrating it with modern media and bringing it to the global attention. So join us as we explore the legacy and future of Chittara art with Geeta Bhat, celebrating our cultural treasures and the impact of preservation on our collective heritage. Get ready for a story of passion, creativity, and cultural conservation.
Ma'am, can you provide a brief overview of Center for Revival of Indigenous Art, CFRIA, and how it came into existence and what inspired its founding?
Thank you for all this, all you and your team. Basically, I'm very much interested in Indian culture, Indian traditions, especially folk arts, and I've been doing a lot of work with that as a volunteer. Then when I happened to see Chittara in one of those way back, it was like love at first sight, and it kind of captivated me, and then that's how my journey began.
What are the unique features of Chittara art, ma'am? How did CFRIA engage with its practitioners?
As you can see, Chittara is a very, very distinct folk art, and observe it's very refined lines. Then they use only eco-friendly materials. They make their own natural colors, and the brush, which is called Pundinaru, that is also made from themselves, and they use all these things. And there are nature and water worshippers. So whatever the painting, whatever you see in the painting, it's all related to either to the nature or to their or to the things what they use in their day-to-day life. So these are all some of the features of Chittara.
Okay.
And it's geometrical. There is a proportion and measurements. So they use all this with their great dexterity, and they do the painting.
Alright. So, ma'am, you mentioned that they use or make paint on their own. So, what are some of the ingredients or substances they use to make this paint?
Okay. So there is only 4 colors. That is the white, yellow, black, and red. White, of course, is they soak the rice every day and then change the water, and they grind it and then they sieve it with a fine cloth and then add natural gum. So the white is ready. And for the black, all these colors are very laborious, to prepare. And for the black, the particular rice, they roast it on a low fire. So from white to black, white to red, red to black, and then again they grind it and follow the same procedure. So then the black is ready. And for the yellow, they have the tree called Gurige tree which grows in the forest, and which you get the berries only in April and May. So they bring those berries and then they take out the yellow color, and the peel they make oil, and this oil is edible. So that is, you got your colors. And for the red, there's a stone called Rajakallu. So they pound that, grind it, and then the same, sieve it and add natural gum. So all these 4 colors. And for the brush, it's called Pundinaru, the plant which grows near the river, and then it is soaked for 15 days and take on the bark, and then they dry those, and then you get. And if you see the brush, you feel it is like it's like a hair, silk hair. So that's how the brush is made. So these are the speciality and the unique features of Chittara, some of the unique features of Chittara.
That's really interesting to know, ma'am.
Yeah,
So these practitioners, to which community they belong to, can you brief a bit about their lifestyle, their food habits, the festivals, and other aspects of their life?
There are different communities which are practicing this art form depending on the region, like Soraba, Shikaripura, Sirsi, Tirthali, and many other places. But the work which I am doing is called Deevaru community. I chose them because I really like their art form, their refined lines, so which fascinated me. And considering they don't have electricity, and also basically they're farmers, so they go in the morning, come back in the evening, and after their chores of the day's chores is done, they sit in the night and do this with the lamp, the lamp which is done with the castor oil, and they do this wonderful art with such refined lines. So they're, as I said, they're nature and water worshippers, and water is very important for them. For example, they have in the kitchen they have a small platform, and wherein they place 2 copper pots. Of course, now it has come to steel. So one big copper pot and one small copper pot. The big one represents the female ancestors. The smaller one represents the male ancestors. So it's a matriarchal society. So this is one of the main, and anything happens, it's like puja room for them. Any from birth to death, all the festivals, everything is celebrated, starts from there, and all this like we call it nevedya, like offering to the god. What we do, so similarly they do this to the water pot, and then they do that for everything. That is one. Another thing, when the bride comes to the groom's house first, she's taken over there, and then she does puja to these water pots, and then every other ritual starts. So these are all some of the other things what the water worshippers. Another one is they have Gauri Puja, which is one of the most important festivals for them. So wherein they go to the river and wells, and then they bring the water, and starts the whole rituals, and the puja thing starts from there. Then another one is Deepavali, you all know. So Deepavali is again they go to the river or the well and bring the water, and then the ritual starts. So these are all the features.
That's fascinating, ma'am.
Yeah.
So when you say that they're nature worshippers, water worshippers, we can see how much they are in close with water. They're making sure that every aspect is in tandem with that. So with respect to, let's say, animals, birds, how is the relationship between animals and birds in case of their, let's say, festivals or everyday activities?
During Deepavali, Deepavali is about literally like a 5 to 6 days festival, the biggest festival, and one of the days it is meant only for doing puja for the animals. So for example, the ox, the bull, that is the main. Of course, now it has been replaced by tractors in some places. So they wash this, give a nice bath for the bulls, and then the hen, the cows, the calf, the goat, the cat, the hen, everything. When you go at that time, you will see they're all into one big family. You never see they're different animals or things like. And they all know their order also. That's very fantastic. So they will wait patiently. They know after this it is my turn. Like that. And then of course they decorate the bull with the marigold flower, which is one of the most important flower, and decorate them with some designs and etc. And then they'll take them in a procession. So this is one of that. And apart from that, there's something called Bhumanni Hunnime Butti. So that is akin to like our Simanta, what we call, or when we all have this ritual when women is pregnant for the first time, the 7th month, There's a puja depending on which area you are from, and then you invite people and you make all the special delicacies what this pregnant woman wants, and you feed it to everybody, you serve it to. So similarly, they do this for Mother Earth before they cut the crop. So at that time, it's very rare. They all make the delicacy. They prepare the delicacy the whole night, and then carry all this in a special basket called as Bhumanni Huttine Butti, and they carry this. They go to the they go to the field, and then they do the puja to Mother Earth. And when they do the puja, the ladies' ornaments are put to the Mother Earth, including the thali. And you can imagine the connection of them with the nature. Normally thali is not removed, but at this thing they do it, and then of course they offer all the delicacies. So at that time there are 5 banana leaves are kept. So one for Mother Earth, one for snake, one for rat, one for bandicoot, one for this. So this is how the connection so much closely related with the animals. So you can imagine their feelings towards this.
Yes, ma'am. So when it comes to, let's say, documenting or preserving Chittara, how does CFRIA go about it? Is there any elements or traditions that CFRIA has specifically documented and preserved, or what are the process that involved in this?
When I started, I've done a lot of research. I used to travel to the villages, interior, and then of course that time there was no much transport and etc. etc. But we have done a lot of research and I presented papers abroad in international conferences, which was highly appreciated. And that's one. And then we have also done a lot of workshops in schools. We have done in Christ University, then many schools around. Then you all know Speakmake. So through Speakmake we have done many workshops, Chittara workshops. And right now we are coming out with a book on Chittara, which is likely to be published by end of this year if everything goes well. And in that we are going to cover everything, Chittara, the culture, the community, the rituals, the festivals, all that. So you'll have to wait for that to see.
Sure, ma'am. So apart from, let's say, the publishing of the book, how does CFRIA envision the future of Chittara art and Deevaru communities in the very extremely changing, rapid, modernized culture, ma'am?
Modernization has influenced the artists, and especially the younger artists. They don't want to take it up, but at the same time the awareness is creeping in now, which is really good. And from what I can see, it has a huge scope. It can be adapted, of course, like we have done on the Chittara designs on the textiles, on saris, especially airy silk saris. We have also tried out embroidery, Chittara motifs embroidery. We want to come out with the weaving, the same thing what we have done. And then we have also painted on cane bags, Chittara motifs on cane bags. Then we have come out with bookmarks, keychains, on the diaries, Chittara designs on the diaries. Calendar, we're planning to bring out a different kind of calendar around Chittara festival, etc. So there's an up-to scope for this. It's all the designers, especially with all the design institutes, they come out with beautiful ideas, not distorting Chittara or affecting Chittara art form.
What were the challenges that involved in the entire process, ma'am? Let's say when it comes to meeting them, or the very aspect of taking or talking about Chittara to people who are not aware of it. Overall, what has been the challenges that were for you largely?
Well, I think like any other, it's plenty. The first one is of course funding, or the finance, but then you overcome it. Like you learn and you go on and you fail many times, but then you just see some other ways to come up. That's one thing. And the other thing is some of the city promoters or city dwellers had taken them for a ride. So when I went, this is my personal experience, when I went, they were not welcoming me, and I was quite upset, and I wasn't knowing what for. I mean, have I offended them, or what is it like? And then I came to know this was the fact, and then I had to gain their confidence that I am not doing, just taking their art and just selling in the city and making money out of it and not giving them. So once they know, they are very open, they are very welcoming, Um, they just roll out the red carpet to you, and they teach you everything. They talk to you, and they would want you to stay with them and share everything, and things like that.
So you said that Chittara is something that they draw and they make it on their own, ma'am. So how do they try to come up with designs? Let's say, how are they inspired from the nature or everyday activities? Do they use these themes on the paintings, or what kind of themes does the paintings largely cover, ma'am?
And like I said, it's matriarchal society. It's passed down from generations, and like I said, they're nature lovers. So whatever they see in nature, they just paint only that. Whatever the bird they see near their surrounding areas. For example, arecanut is one of their main crop, so they adopt that. The paddy is another crop, crop they grow. So they depict that. So this is again women's creativity, women's imagination, and for each one she has given a name for the symbol, and she calls it this, and what is this. So again connected with nature. For example, there's one symbol called Nilikochu, so crisscross lines. So according to the olden days, the houses were built on the bamboo strips, and then you see the structure, it's like a rugged slightly, and then she came out with this particular name and design or motif, and she called it as Nilikochu to represent that. Another one is Basinganili. So Basinga is a headgear for the bride, groom, at the time of marriage, made out of natural material called pith or sola wood, or in Kannada jondu or bendu. So again she made a motif for that and call it as Basinganili. And marigold flower is a very important flower for them, right from birth to death they use. So she made a motif for that and called something closer, resembling her imagination again. So she called it as Chendu Huvina Salu. So things like that. And there are birds, there are one particular bird which is found lots in their areas and which sits on their houses. So they're all farmers. So when they come back in the evening, they see this bird sitting on their house and they feel it is taking care of my house, and for them it is the indication of happiness. This is on one region they follow this. In the other region, they feel that it's hatching and the he bird has gone to get food, and the she bird is waiting anxiously for him to come back. So these are the two thoughts. But the birds, and also these birds, unlike I've seen other places, it's a different way again. It's like broadish and etc. So and they adopt this in Chittara. So many things like this, many other motifs. Another thing is they have when they have the marriage, they have to have a particular Chittara called Hase Gode Chittara. So this is done only at the time of marriage. So in that you see the columns, vertical and horizontal. So earlier days the marriage is to take place in the houses. So she draws these columns to show that the foundation of the house. And then there is in the center portion of this painting, there is a palanquin where the bride and the groom are seated and two people are carrying. So this is all they see. I mean, they would have seen, maybe now it's not this kind, but and then also you can imagine, you can think how she has thought way back to have fans for the couple. So you see the fans over there. Of course, it's hand fan made out of cane or bamboo, but the fans are there. So again, that she has given a motif. And another thing connected with nature, so they whatever they use, most of it are all nature based, different kinds of grass which is available in different seasons. So for example, Ichulu chape. So the Ichulu is one kind of grass which is available around November, December, something like November to January probably, and they bring this and they weave the mats, and then they join. So when you see the joint, you won't even know where the joint is. And they use natural colors for this. And again, this is geometrical. The patterns are geometrical. So it's a lot of calculations. And if you ask them, they say, how do you do it? Mathematical. How do you? So it's all in my mind. I just do it, and I just go on do the math with that. Then there is other grass which is called irike. The products are called irike. That is also made out of another kind of grass which is grown around. Then around December there's another kind of grass which grows. It's called karadada kaddi, and that they make a beautiful like a flower garland to put it on their head. So I mean, you get the idea of how much they are into nature. And they'll never pluck anything unwanted, like we people, we just go pluck some 10 plants, 5 plants, whatever. They never, how much ever, if they want one leaf, they'll cut only one leaf. And if they want one plant, they take out the plant and then replace that plant with another. It's like that. And one of my experience I like to share, so when I was doing my research earlier, they also do embroidery, which is very, very close to Kasuti. It's almost Kasuti, but not as refined as Kasuti. But I mean, people who know Kasuti and this, they can say that. So this another old artist was doing it, and I just asked her, why are you not, and she explained to me the motives, what she was doing. And I said, why aren't you not doing this flower? Then, she just very, very kind of coldly, she said, go out, take a round and come back. So I said, okay, maybe I offended her or something. And then when I came back, and she immediately asked, did you see that flower in the garden? I said, no. So that is what, that this is one of the best example I can give you how much they are with nature.
And the very minute aspects are taken into account when they draw Chittara.
Yeah.
And considering they are largely farmers, and the love they have for Chittara doesn't make Chittara just a hobby for them. So in their everyday life, how do they make time for this? How do they engage and make Chittara?
Yeah, it's not a hobby actually. It is to bring out the creativity, beautify their house. If you see the women in the villages, around villages, for example, if you want to take a photograph of hers, immediately she'll say no. Then she'll say, she'll come back with, whatever the sari she's wearing, that same sari, but she'll wash her face, wear her jewelry, we call it patti, or the waistband, and earrings, and nicely, and they say, now you take my photo. So this is how they are. And how do they find that time? Because they don't, unlike us, they don't feel it's a pressure, they don't know the stress part, from what I observed. So it's like it's a joy for them, it's bringing out their creativity, their beauty of what is there in their mind, and to express their feelings, express their emotions through Chittara. So whomever you ask, we have seen it in the night, we go and sit with them, we have never seen them tired, they're always happy, their singing is happening, so some people are dancing a little bit, some people are making tea for them, so you'll never see anywhere anything, there's always joy when they do Chittara. In fact, I would love to tell you, because whenever we have done the workshops, many students have come back and told us, and they've written their comments saying that how much joy it gave them, they want to do more, but the circumstances, they need to get on with their studies, etc. Yeah, so that's also another modern meaning.
So as students, if there is something that could be done from our end, let's say through the kind of reach we have in terms of social media or the kind of conferences that happen, what would you suggest or advise students in case they are going to research on, let's say, these communities, or not just Deevaru, but any community they are researching? Would you give any advice for them to go forward?
Yeah, I would say younger generation, more and more they should look into the folk arts, because you learn a lot. There are lots to learn. Of course, no textbooks can give you, or they may not have to show you what, but if you go and live with them, you learn to admire the nature. You automatically start thinking with their influence, with their observing them, how much they take care of the nature, which we don't actually. We claim, we make big noise. This is what every time I tell, but we don't do it, but they do it. So all these are things, a lot to learn, and I would say more and more younger generation should go, spend time and learn many things from them. For example, I told you, like many places, not only just, many places they use natural materials. Now it is all replaced by plastic mats, etc. But I think probably you could tell them, because they may not be aware, that plastic is bad, because they see, okay, it's convenient, so things like that. So you can exchange the ideas, you learn from them and they learn from you. This is one of the examples, but like that many things are there.
Is there something that you would like to mention about Chittara or Deevaru community or CFRIA in general?
Uh, yeah, I think more people should come forward, the public, to encourage folk arts, especially art like Chittara, which is kind of dying art form. There are many like this, many other craft also. So you should give in, for example, when you want to give gifts, birthday gifts, marriage, whatever, you just go to these archies or some places. So I would say go in for these kind of things, products made by the craft people or the folk people. That's just another way of encouraging them. And many things you should tell me, like you can come out, all of you.
So one thing that we have observed is in all the things that you have mentioned, you have tried your best to represent as it is instead of, let's say, bringing in your points of views or anything of that sort, and that is something a lot of people do not have these days. So how did you come up with that particular thought, or even with all these challenges and everything, how are you still sticking very strongly toward that?
Basically, I strongly believe that you should not see, these are the art forms which has come from generations, and it's you don't do justice by putting in your thoughts, or for example, when we say about colors, people immediately say, oh, yellow is this, oh, red is that. They'll associate with whatever feelings you have learned, whatever. It's not wrong, but it's not so in the villages. It's different. So I'm very particular about these kind of things. Even their songs, when people interpret, I get upset. I said, no, it is their language. It's come from centuries, and why there are certain reasons why it has done. The circumstances, wherever, and in the environment they have lived. So because of that, these are done, right? Songs, or dance, folk dance. So I said, no, don't do that. And I did get into some problem because of that, but I strictly. My request also that people should not do such kind of things, misinterpretation.
Those are some really encouraging words for us. Being in the academia, that actually helps us, ma'am.
Thank you all. Thank you. One more thing I want to add, when I was talking about when you asked the last question, what all can be done, envision. So we did a Chittara mural for Bosch centenary year. So they wanted all their products right from the day one till the centenary day. So it was a very big challenge for me and for my designer Namrata Kable. Like I said, we don't distort Chittara, and to put in their products and their four principles, and to align that with Chittara. It took us nearly 8 to 10 months to design. Of course, there are a lot of variations, and they have to approve. They wouldn't know what is Chittara, why this, and they got confused with Bidri or with barley art. They say we want this, we want that, but then we have to explain, etc., etc. But ultimately, they agreed and they really loved, and it came out beautiful. I would say sometime I could take you people and show this, because they're strict about the security over there. Then you will understand, the thing. So we incorporated their 100 products in Chittara or with Chittara and their 4 principles. So it's beautiful. It is about 9 meters by 3 meters. So things like this, it has a huge scope. So it's all on the designers and the younger people, how all you can take it forward. And of course, we are also planning to take it internationally. We had an exhibition, Chittara first international exhibition in Japan. One of our friends, they helped us, so that's how we were able to do this. So we have taken 2 artists from Chittara, the village, and we had a workshop and lecture demonstration for them, and it was so beautiful because it was like the whole place is something like the region where these people come from, full of greenery, trees, river, lakes and all, and most of them are artists in one way or the other. So they just loved it. They just loved, Japanese, they love all this, and especially the natural color, natural brush. They just loved it. So like that you have lots. And recently We were showing some people, we had a workshop with the French nationals and the international members, and they're all just, they get fascinated and they want to do more. And some of them wants to visit the village, which we are planning to organize a tour for them. And earlier we had organized for Japanese, Italians, and some few French people, the village tour, experience for them, show their lifestyle, Deevaru's lifestyle for these people, and they also do they try out little Chittara with a natural brush. So it was highly, highly appreciated. So, like I've given you a lot of ideas, so how all you all can take it forward, and probably will add more and come out with more.
Ma'am, so you mentioned a word about Varli, and it's true that we have seen instances of Varli even in popular media, movies and everything. But it's not a lot of people who even know that it is called Varli, or even if we see it, it's taken out of context. So it's something related to folk, but you do not know the community that came up with it, or let's say the kind of substances they use. Now, if Chittara have or could have an intervention, let's say in the popular media and everything, of course there would be challenges or different sorts of appropriation that might happen in the process. But what would be your take on that, ma'am?
Media can play a very big part again. Sure, definitely, it will help a lot. I would say just go ahead and do it, but please respect the art form, whichever one. I would like to do a workshop, Chittara workshop, for whoever interested in your class or at your college. I'll be happy to do that. So please let me know. And thank you so much for all the works you're doing, and wish you all the best.
In today's enriching conversation with Geeta Bhat, we unravel the journey and vision behind the Center for Revival of Indigenous Art, an initiative sparked by a profound appreciation for the indigenous Chittara art form and its deep-rooted cultural significance. Geeta Bhat shared a passion for safeguarding traditional Indian art forms from the brink of obscurity. Her mission is not only to preserve but to breathe new life into these cultural treasures, ensuring their continuity for future generations. Chittara is a canvas reflecting the Deevaru's community's intimate bond with nature. Traditionally practiced by women, this unique art form employs natural dyes to create compelling murals that narrate tales of tradition, spirituality, and the cosmos. CFRIA's engagement with Chittara practitioners has been profound, facilitating workshops and collaborative projects that aim to blend tradition with contemporary artistic mediums, thus widening the art form's appeal and accessibility. She shared fascinating insight into the Deevaru communities, known for its nature and water worship. Their culture is rich with festivals and rituals, celebrating their harmonious relationship with the environment. Notably, CFRIA has played a critical role in documenting these practices, particularly those emphasizing the symbiotic connection between the community, nature, and animals. Through meticulous documentation and preservation efforts, CFRIA has managed to capture the essence of Chittara art and the myriad traditions of the Deevaru community, ensuring their legacy endures. Educational initiatives spearheaded by CFRIA aim to demystify Chittara art for a broader audience. By organizing workshops and awareness campaigns, they have opened avenues for people to engage with and appreciate the depth of this art form. These initiatives serves as a means of preservation and a bridge connecting the younger generation with their ancestral heritage. Looking towards the future, CFRIA envisions a vibrant trajectory for Chittara art and the Deevaru communities, amidst India's rapidly evolving cultural landscape. Geeta emphasizes the importance of adaptation and innovation in ensuring the art form's relevance and survival. By integrating Chittara into modern design and digital platforms, CFRIA aims to foster a global appreciation for this art, ensuring it thrives in the contemporary world. Our conversation with Geeta Bhat was not just a journey through the history and intricacies of Chittara art, but also a testament to the power of passion and preservation in cultural conservation. As we wrapped up, it was clear that CFRIA's endeavors are a beacon of hope for preserving Chittara and all indigenous art forms facing the threat of fading into oblivion.
Through the Capstone project, we aim to offer insider interpretations of local folk traditions and practices through the lenses of global, theoretical, and methodological frameworks. As this episode comes to an end, let's immerse ourselves in the enchanting stories and rich heritage that transcend time. I trust your folklore adventure with us was truly captivating. So let the melodies linger in the air. Folklore, timeless beyond compare. They are the soulful echoes of our yore, a chorus of heritage forevermore. Until we meet again.
তার সঙ্গে নাইলে না দেনা খাঁটি সোনা চাইরা দে নাই নকল সোনা সেজন সোনা চেনে না ও সেজন মানিক চেনে না ফুটা কাটা মানিক পাইল রে অতল পানি ফেলিয়া দিল রে রাজার ধন মানি খারাইয়া ও ভাই 7 রাজার ধন মানি খারাইয়া ফুটা কাটা তা তো মন জানে না সেজন সোনা চেনে না সেজন মানি চেনে না